Hello again. Something which I've noticed in the last year or two, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, is the way in which the expression far right seems to have become a popular catchphrase and now appears every day in newspapers and on television. The Reform Party? Far right. GB News? Far right. People objecting to unrestricted immigration? Far right. Terrorism? Far right. Although they are even more active in Britain than those with right-wing views, one never seems to hear, though, about the far left. Some activist or other might occasionally be referred to as left-wing, but you will not see the phrase far left being used to describe any individual or any group. The funny thing is that for the last half century or more, it has been the left-wing, the far left, who have most enthusiastically been causing disorder on the streets and promoting extremist doctrines and encouraging violence, but they are, by and large, given a free pass to do so. Did anybody notice a fellow on the far left who was sent to prison last week for 13 years for preparing acts of terrorism in Britain? You probably would have heard more about him, I suspect, had he been a member of, say, the Patriotic Alternative. Jacob Grahams in Liverpool was making explosives and trying to use a 3D printer to manufacture a gun, as well as compiling information on bomb making and trying to interest others in the idea. He described himself as a left-wing anarchist, and I give a link to the news story about him in the description to this video. Bristol is, of course, a centre for left-wing violence and extremism and has been for years. Remember the people who pulled down a statue there and threw it in the harbour? What about the left-wing mob which a year later was setting fire to police cars and attacked a police station and burned it down? Does anybody remember that, or is it just me? It's not that long ago. It was only about 3 years back, the spring of 2021. Again, I give a link in the description to this video, to that case. This was a left-wing mob specifically attacking the police and setting fire to police stations and police cars. Whenever there has been trouble and disorder on the streets in this country, it is always the far left who start with the petrol bombs. It's always been like that. 50 years ago, we saw exactly the same thing. The National Front, the so-called far right, would march peacefully with flags, just showing their opinions. And then the left-wing mob would turn up and attack the police and set fire to things. Am I alone in remembering Red Lion Square in 1974 when a fellow called Kevin Gately was killed? Right-wing meeting, attacked by left-wingers, chaos and disorder and someone killed. At Lewisham in 1977, the same thing, National Front march, and then left-wingers went mad and started setting fire to things. This has been something of a thread running through British politics. If you want to see political violence, it is the far left who will be able to oblige. This being so, I find it very odd that the words far right have become the common expression instead of far left. I wonder what the reason for this might be.